Hello.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
Hello, everyone. My name's Sydnie Christmas.
Is it?
Sydnie Christmas.
That's an unbelievable name. I love that.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It's not.
My middle name's worse.
What is it?
Mary.
In a storm of golden confetti, a life is changed forever. Through tears of joy, a dream, once distant, becomes stunningly real. This was the moment the UK first truly met Sydnie Christmas. Her journey on Britain's Got Talent 2024 ended with a show-stopping finale that left millions breathless and a heart-pounding silence before the words finally came. The winner is Sydnie Christmas. It felt like a victory that was meant to be, but this isn't just a story about winning. It's about the years of self-doubt, the quiet struggles, and the unbreakable spirit of a woman who was about to prove her time had finally come. From a gigging performer to a national sensation, this is the story of how Sydnie Christmas captured the hearts of a nation. This is her complete journey. Every year, Britain's Got Talent promises to find a diamond in the rough, a star in waiting, who just needs their moment in the spotlight. In 2024, the show delivered on that promise in the biggest way possible. The 17th series of the iconic talent show would come to be defined by one voice, one personality, and one incredible story. Sydnie Christmas, a 28-year-old from Kent, walked onto the stage with a sharp sense of humor and a relatable story of nearly giving up. She walked off it a household name, the winner of the series' first golden buzzer, and the instant favorite. To win it all, so let's break down that unforgettable run. We'll look at every performance, from the audition that started it all to the grand finale that crowned her champion. We'll explore the emotional highs, the controversy that threatened to throw her off course, and the sheer, undeniable talent that saw her through. This is the story of a dream that refused to die and a journey that proves it's never too late for your tomorrow. To finally arrive, before the confetti and the roar of the crowd, there was just Sydnie. Sydnie Christmas, whose life was a series of near misses and quiet perseverance. Born in Gravesend, Kent, her dream was always to be on stage. She trained at the D&B Academy of Performing Arts, graduating in 2014 with her eyes set on the West. And for a while she was out there working tirelessly. She performed in stage productions like Lazarus and saw the world as a lead singer on Royal Caribbean cruise ships and shows like Grease. She even spent 3 years in Germany as part of the cast of the musical Starlight Express. But the life of a performer is rarely a straight line. These were jobs, but that one big, career-defining break just wasn't happening. Between contracts, she faced the tough reality so many artists know. To make ends meet, she took on a 0-hour contract at a gym, checking people in at the front desk, and even worked as a cleaner. As she put it, chasing the dream was becoming soul-destroying. She felt like doors were being slammed in her face, keeping her from the one thing she felt she was born to do. It was at this crossroads, feeling like she had nothing left to lose, that she applied for Britain's Got Talent. It was, in her own words, one last shot. When she walked onto the London Palladium stage, none of that struggle was obvious. Instead, the judges and audience were met with a burst of personality. She was funny, charming, and didn't take herself too seriously. She joked with the judges about her age and spoke about her dream of being on the West End. There was a real warmth to her that was instantly endearing. Judge Amanda Holden later said Sydnie had the vibes of Adele with her humility and humor. Then, she announced her song choice, Tomorrow, from the musical Annie. This was a huge risk. Simon Cowell's face immediately fell. He famously can't stand the song. Amanda even warned her, Simon hates that song. But for Sydnie, the song was personal. It was the first song she ever remembered singing, a connection. Back to the very start of her dream, the music started. The funny, chatty woman disappeared, and an artist took her place. She delivered the opening lines with a gentle, hopeful control. But as the song built, something amazing happened. Sydnie transformed the classic show tune into something modern, soulful, and powerful. This wasn't the plucky anthem of a little girl. It was the cry of a woman who had known hardship, but was choosing with everything she had to believe in a better day. Her vocal control was incredible. When she hit the final, soaring notes, the power was staggering, filling the entire theater and leaving the audience stunned before they exploded into applause. The reaction was immediate. All four judges were on their feet. The crowd was roaring their approval. Alicia Dixon was beaming, telling her, "You are full of character, personality. You've got it all going on, ... You smashed it." But it was Simon Cowell's reaction that said it all. The man who hated the song was a total convert. "I want to say something," he began. "That reaction we just heard in the room, it's rare. Your control was amazing. And I used to hate that song, and now I absolutely love it." He acknowledged how tough the industry is, affirming, "You so deserve what you just got." For Amanda Holden, though, it was more than just a great performance. "What struck me so much about you is just how naturally funny, how warm, how brilliant your presence was," she explained. "But then you brought us the most heartfelt, beautiful version of that song. And that was the best version I have ever heard in my life." With tears in her eyes, she declared, "So I'm going to do this," and slammed her hand down on the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down as Sydnie collapsed to her knees, sobbing. It was the culmination of years of work, of hope, of being told no, all validated in one glittering moment. It was clear this was more than just an audition. A star had been born. The golden buzzer sends you straight to the live shows, but it also comes with a mountain of pressure. The world is watching. The performance can't just be good. It has to be a home run. For Sydnie, the pressure was on her. Audition had gone viral, and she was no longer an unknown. She was the one to beat. On top of that, a storm was brewing online. As soon as her audition aired, viewers discovered her professional background and the fixed claims began. People saw her credits on cruise ships and in stage shows and cried foul, claiming it was unfair for a professional to compete on a show meant for amateurs. The criticism was, in Sydnie's own words, soul-destroying and made her feel really crappy. She'd been honest about her past, explaining that while she had worked, she was still chasing that one big break. The backlash questioned the very authenticity of her story. This was the atmosphere as Sydnie prepared for her live semi-final. She had to deliver a performance that would not only live up to the golden buzzer, but also silence the critics. Her song choice was a stroke of genius, a direct answer to the noise. "My Way," the anthem of resilience and doing things on your own terms. She walked onto the stage in a stunning, glittering gown, looking every bit the star. The performance began quietly, reflectively. As she sang, "And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain." It felt like she was telling her own story. What followed was a masterclass. The arrangement built from a gentle beginning to a thunderous, emotional peak. It wasn't just loud. It was controlled, nuanced, and deeply felt. She later said that she opened her eyes mid-song to see the audience's light-up wristbands swaying in unison. A sea of dreams. When she changed the lyric to, "For what is a woman, what has she got? If not herself, then she has naught," it was a powerful statement. The performance was a defiant and elegant response to her critics. She wasn't hiding her past. She was owning it. The judges were floored. Amanda Holden, her champion from day one, was in tears. She told Sydnie that more people had stopped her to talk about her audition than any other in the show's history, and that tonight she had done even better. Bruno Tonioli praised her control and power, calling the performance stunning. Alicia Dixon declared her a superstar in the making. But again, it was Simon Cowell who summed it up best. "It wasn't a 10, it was an 11, he said. "And honestly, Sydnie, I was thinking as you were performing, if it wasn't for people like you, I wouldn't bother making this show." He even took a shot at the naysayers, wondering aloud who the idiots were that didn't give her a break before. The public wholeheartedly agreed. Sydnie won the semifinal with a massive 37.9% of the public vote, sending her straight to the grand final. She had faced the pressure and the controversy and hadn't just met expectations, she had blown them away. The biggest stage of her life was now waiting. The Britain's Got Talent Grand Final is one of the most nerve-wracking nights on television. It's the final hurdle between the contestants and £250,000 and a spot at the Royal Variety Performance. Sydney went into the night as the clear favorite to win, a position that brought with it the weight of a nation's expectations. Everyone believed she could do it. Now, she just had to. Her song choices throughout the series had been perfect. Tomorrow was the song of hope. My Way was the anthem of resilience. For her final performance, she chose a song that wrapped it all together, the timeless ballad. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, it was the perfect choice. The song from The Wizard of Oz speaks to anyone who has ever dared to dream of a world beyond their circumstances. For Sydney, the lyrics were her story. This was her chance to finally go over that rainbow. Closing the show, she stood on a stage bathed in soft, ethereal light. From the very first note, it was clear this was something special. The arrangement started with a tender vulnerability, her pure, clear voice floating over the melody. It was a performance that combined old-school West End glamour with raw, modern emotion. As the song built, so did the feeling behind it. When she sang the line, ... and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true, her voice swelled with a profound, genuine belief. It was a moment of pure release for both her and for the millions watching at home. The performance was spellbinding. The judges were visibly moved. Amanda Holden simply described it as gold dust. Bruno Tonioli called it a show-stopping performance, and Alicia Dixon spoke of the hope and joy Sydney radiated. Simon Cowell, looking genuinely emotional, got to the heart of her story. That lyric, it felt so personal to you, he said, reflecting on her God-given talent and the fact she had been overlooked for so long. He pointed out something truly remarkable about her character. There's not an ounce of ego in you. You haven't changed from the second we first met you, and that was a show-stopping end to a great, great, great night. She had done everything she possibly could. She had delivered 3 flawless, unforgettable performances. She had won over the judges, the audience, and the public at home. Now, all that was left was the verdict. The final moments of the show are television at its most tense. One by one, the acts are eliminated until only the top 3 remain: the incredible dance duo Abigail and Afronita, the charismatic magician Jack Rhodes, and Sydnie Christmas. After the third-place act was announced, it was just Jack and Sydney, left standing at the center of the stage. For Sydney, everything, the gym job, the cleaning shifts, the years of auditions, all came down to this. Ant and Dec paused, drawing out the suspense. The silence felt like an eternity. Then the words that would change her life. The winner of Britain's Got Talent 2024 is Sydnie Christmas, the crowd erupted. Sydney crumpled to the stage, overcome with shock and pure joy. She had actually done it. Struggling for words, with tears streaming down her face, she tried to thank everyone who voted. I cannot believe the amount of love that I have felt, she said, her voice thick with emotion. I am overwhelmed with love, and it is the most amazing thing. I wish for one day that every single person in this room feels the way that I do. It was a humble, beautiful speech from someone who, just weeks earlier, was ready to give up. The final voting figures showed just how decisive her victory was. Sydney had won with 27.2% of the public vote, well ahead of Jack Rhodes, who finished second with 15.8%. Winning Britain's Got Talent wasn't the end of her journey. It was the explosive start of a new one. The tomorrow she sang about had finally arrived. The music industry, which had ignored her for so long, suddenly came calling. She quickly signed a record deal and on October 4, 2024, released her debut album, perfectly titled My Way. The album celebrated her journey, featuring her stunning recordings of Tomorrow, My Way, and Over the Rainbow. The album was a huge success, hitting #1 on the UK iTunes chart and making waves across the globe. The stage, her ultimate ambition, was now hers. She announced her first solo UK tour for February 2025, with her debut headline shows selling out and receiving rave reviews. The dream of performing for royalty became a reality when she sang at the 2024 Royal Variety Performance in front of King Charles. Opportunities kept flooding in, including an invitation to perform at legendary music producer David Foster's 75th birthday party at the Hollywood Bowl. Sharing a stage with giants like Michael Bublé and Josh Groban, her journey had become a testament to talent and perseverance. She was no longer a struggling performer. She was a celebrated artist, a recording star, and the champion of Britain's biggest talent show. She was living proof that it's never too late to become who you were always meant to be, from a witty hopeful working a 0-hour contract to a national champion. Sydnie Christmas's story on Britain's Got Talent was truly one for the ages. It was a story told in 3 perfect songs: the hopeful promise of tomorrow, the defiant strength of My Way, and the triumphant arrival over the rainbow. She faced controversy with grace and answered every question with the undeniable power of her voice. She reminded everyone what talent shows are all about: finding extraordinary people and giving them the break of a lifetime. Sydnie Christmas didn't just win a competition. She captured the heart of a nation. If you were inspired by Sydnie's incredible journey, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind your favorite stars. And for another unforgettable story of triumph, check out our video on another BGT legend right here. Thanks for watching.